everyone, me again with my beloved boy Tank. We have just finished our Thanksgiving weekend, and what a Thanksgiving weekend it was. We had quite a feast. Both of us probably need to get on the treadmill / running because I ate way too much, but it was absolutely fantastic. Nice weekend to get away. For some reason, as driving back, it seems as though we've gone into purgatory because there's mist everywhere. It's kind of surreal. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Mist, which is actually one of my favorite movies in the world, which is very underrated, by the way. It's very surreal driving back in southern Alberta in this weather. But anyway, today we are discussing a topic which a lot of people have been asking about because, you know, they know of my previous British Army career and new now serving Canadian Army Reserve career. They want to know, like, what is the Canadian Army Reserves all like? What's it about? Is it fun? Is it good? Is it bad? What's the ups and downs? What's the pros and cons? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Tank is going to be breathing heavily in my ear as we go down the road, and he is actually terrified of driving. It's kind of, I'm not sure why. I need to maybe get one of those thunder jacket things, those things that calm dogs down, because he's just absolutely terrified as we drive. But yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the Canadian Army Reserves. Now, I have only been in the Canadian Army Reserves for about a year now. It'll be a year in November. Very, very proud to be a Canadian soldier. Since leaving the British Army, I've always yearned to get that military mindset back and to get some sort of, army activities going on, because I get quite bored in my civilian career sometimes, and it's nice to be involved with something outside of work that keeps my brain ticking for the military side of things. So let me first start with that point, because that's really one of the most appealing factors for the Army Reserves. The great thing about the Army Reserves, obviously, is the fact you are able to contribute towards both your civilian career and your military career. Now, depending on what you're doing in life, whether it be schooling, working, your own business, blah, 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 the Canadian Army is very flexible with what you do and don't work and the hours that you contribute towards service. It's really, really good. Very, very, like I said, flexible. And for me, it's worked out perfectly. For our particular unit, we parade every Wednesday evening from the hours of about 6:30 till normally around 2200 or 10 p.m. at night, which is perfect for me because I don't want to be, going too early or too late. If it started at, say, 4 or 5 o'clock, that'd be quite difficult for me because of the fact I have my job and my kids that I have to look after and feed, etc., etc. So it's really flexible for the hours. In terms of contributing dedication to your Army career, they want you to obviously to attend as much as physically possible, but if you cannot attend every single night, they understand that. You just need to make sure you let them know. I normally try my best to contribute at least 2 nights a month minimum. Now, I haven't missed any so far in the training year, but that's not saying that there'll be opportunities where I won't be able to attend, because things happen, people have to do things, there's other commitments that you have to be a part of, and that is what it is. But don't be deterred by that. Don't be deterred by the fact that you may not be able to attend certain nights, because they're really, really open to how you flex your time to be able to come in and help out. But you have to just be very honest with them. If you can't make a certain weekend or a certain night, just be honest, tell them upright and straight ahead of the time that you're going to be going away or not going to be able to attend, because it allows them to plan exercise and things a lot better. If you just don't show up every night and don't tell anyone, you're going to get in a bit of trouble, and that's not what they're looking for. It's not what they need. They want people to at least give them some pretty good advance notice as to when they're not coming. Of course, emergencies happen, so letting them know is integral to their planning, so just make sure you give them plenty of advance warning. But it works really good for your civilian career if you have one. If you have schooling, it's even better, because most schools don't educate you at 6 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock at night, so it works really nice with schooling. We do go away on weekends. Of course, that's what the reserve is all about. I know a lot of you are screaming at the screen, "Weekend warriors!" But really, that is kind of what we are for the most part. We train as best as we can during the week and the weekdays, and then on the weekends we go and do our, confirmatory training or regulatory training that we must complete to able to qualify as a unit or as a soldier during the training period. So we'll go away for weekends on range shoots. We'll go and do our, specific trade requirements. For me, being the artillery, I need to work on the howitzers, so actually putting rounds down range or practicing to put rounds down range. Other mandatory requirements such as first aid courses, nuclear, biological, and chemical training, first aid map and compass, whatever it may be. The weekends is where they squeeze everything in that they couldn't squeeze in on the weekends. And for the most part, they're really good with the hours for doing that. So they try and put it on weekends where they know there's not big events going on, like say Canada Day or whatever it may be, even though on Canada Day you normally do stuff. But they don't put an exercise on Canada Day. They'll put like an open day or something that you can attend. There really isn't a mandatory requirement for you to do training, but it's something that's kind of a nice to have. So yeah, that's the first benefit of being part of the Army Reserves, is it's really flexible for your hours. You have a lot of time to play with, but just remember that you are going to contribute and dedicate time and service to the Army, that you really need to try and do that. And, you know, not just say, oh, it's a hobby, it's something I'm just going to do on the side. Remember, you're still getting paid to do that job. You're still part of a critical mass of troops that they need to keep trained up and ready and on their books. Remember, it's going to their division or brigade that they need to let know of how many people they have. If they're seeing all these numbers of like, oh, we got lots of troops, but none of them are actually showing up, you're not doing a good service for the rest of the unit. So you have to try your best to attend, because it's not making a good name for yourself or the unit you're a part of if you never actually show up just because you wanted to go out drinking with the boys or the girls, or you want to go, I don't know, whatever it may be that you're kind of brushing off the military for. That's not what you want to be doing. You need to dedicate yourself to it, and if you can't, then it's possibly not the right career move for you or choice to do. So please make sure you commit and dedicate yourself. But that being said, if you can't fulfill the commitment for legitimate reasons, say work, schooling, or family concerns, or emergency matters, personal matters, then that's okay. They can work around that really, really good. Another really good thing about the Army Reserves is you're going to learn a ton of stuff that primarily you're not going to learn in your civilian job. For instance, teamwork. Now, I'm sure many of you work in team-based environments in your civilian career. However, it's a totally different type of team environment. Of course, those who are already in the public sector working, say, police, fire, paramedics, all those sort of things, you're going to get that same kind of, military style of teamwork in your day-to-day careers. However, there's a lot of people who don't experience that. They don't get to experience what true teamwork, solid teamwork is like. And I think it's an incredible skill to have, something that will benefit you for the rest of your lives. If none of you have been in a team environment where it's very close-knit, where you rely very heavily upon team members to provide, support to you or others that get the job done, I think it's something you should definitely look into. It's going to help you wholeheartedly for your future, whether it be for your civilian career or if you wish to potentially go full-time military careers in the future. So teamwork is a big one. You learn a ton of stuff, whether it be leading a team, how to be a part of a team, working as a team, the problems that can occur when you work with a team, because it doesn't always go smoothly, trust me. Really, really important stuff that I think everyone should experience at some point in their lives, just to kind of get a little bit of an outside influence as to how teams work from, a non-civilian mindset, because teamwork in the civilian world is very different. Teamwork in the civilian world is very sort of process-based. They have, specific rules that you must follow and specific key processes you got to go along to make sure everything runs tickety-boo for a team. In reality, when real problems occur and a team has to come together, the rules go out the window. Well, not the rules, but the practical sense of following the same routine go out the window. Sometimes you've got to deal with things as a team that are totally outside the box. You don't find that often in civilian careers, and the Army Reserve is going to definitely throw a number of those challenges at you every single time you go, say away on a weekend or to some training nights, because it's a totally different mindset and mentality than what most civilian employers will have. So I think it's a great benefit, something that everyone should experience. So give it a try. You never know, it might be something that kind of works really well for you, and you may find that you're not really getting the benefits of teamwork out of it because you're already doing it in a civilian career. Adding to the whole teamwork side of things, you're also going to make a ton of buddies and friends. Again, totally different to the ones you're probably used to right now. I'm just saying that from my own personal experience. I came from the British Army, full-time regular force, so I had some really close friends there, almost brothers and sisters there. They're just very, very close to me, and unfortunately I lost those since leaving, and I needed that back. And in my civilian career, I have very, very close friends, some who I would say are just as much as brothers to me, but they don't have the same military mindset, the same sort of core values or sort of experiences that I've had in my past. So sometimes it's quite hard to relate to them have certain jokes with them, or the sense of humor with them, or just sort of, mannerisms that they don't quite understand, like, stand to and all those sort of things. The phrases you use just for jokes or just referring to stuff they don't get. And for me, that's just like, those little things that pop to my mind are just fun things to have in life that kind of keep me in my military world. If you've never experienced that military kind of humor and that friendship and those buddies that you have in the army, then it's going to be a whole new experience to you, and you'll kind of understand what I mean when you get in. But it's nice to have just a different set of groups, like a new friendship group that's completely different world to the ones you would have in your civilian career, because for the most part, civilian buddies are normally ones you know in your work, at a sports event, you've known since school. When you go into the reserves, the Army Reserves or any military unit, you're going to find people from multiple different backgrounds, totally different experiences, totally different personalities, and that's a really good thing, because it gets you out of the same pool of people you're always hanging out with, talking about the same thing, whether it be sports or work or, what little old Christie's doing since high school 20 years ago, whatever it may be. You're going to have a whole different pool of people to share totally different stories and experiences with. And again, that's going to benefit you, because it's going to open up potentially doors. I know a number of people in my local unit who have careers in certain things, and they ask questions about those careers that they would have never have even thought about doing until they met certain individuals. So that's a really cool thing to have, a new mindset, a new way of thinking, a way of looking at things when you meet other people and other individuals with the Army Reserves. And I honestly feel that is one of the other key strong features of being part of the Army Reserves, is you can meet these people, and some of the skills and attributes they have, you can actually potentially hire or ask help for. I know a couple of my friends who, they're actually carpenters in a unit out east, and they basically have said, hey, look, I've got some woodwork that need doing. You're a carpenter, would you mind doing it for me? They're like, oh, hell yeah, I'll do it for you. Like, brother to brother, you're a soldier, I'll do it for you like half the price, a third of the price, whatever it may be, because you're part of that unit, because you're part of that kind of, military family. They'll cut you some slack, cut you a deal. And again, that's a really good thing to have. You're not going to find that much in the Reg Force, because in the regular force, everybody is a soldier full time. They don't do other things part time to be able to gather those skills. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's less likely to happen. And it's a nice thing to have. You have people who are cops, you can tell, this is where I park to take photo radar of you every day, or whatever it may be. I don't know. But it's a really nice thing to have. You just get a whole different plethora of people to meet, different skills, different experiences, personalities, and it's just a great environment to be a part of. You're not part of the same old, and I really enjoyed that. Another part of the Army Reserves is all the key skills. Okay, so you're going to join the Army, and inherently you're going to grab some skills that you would never normally get in your civilian career, whether it be, as I already mentioned, teamwork, discipline. When you go into the Army, you might start looking at the world a little differently and start thinking, you know what, my room is pretty messy, or my house is pretty gross right now. I should take a good afternoon or a day and clean it up. Something that you wouldn't normally ever have done prior to joining the military, because you weren't installed that kind of discipline or that kind of personal pride that you have in your kit, your uniform, or your accommodation. That kind of thing, those little key skills are really, really good for you as a person overall. You can sometimes get those key skills in other careers, other jobs, for sure. I'm not saying that at all, but I think with the Army, for sure, you're going to get a ton of heavy discipline, especially going through basic training and BMQ and BNQ land. And that's going to go through with you for the rest of your life. It may even be passed on to your children if you have kids. The core thing of like looking after your equipment and looking after your toys, even whatever with kids. I don't know. You know where I'm going with this. The key skills that you're going to take from joining something like that on a part-time basis is going to be really, really beneficial for you. Some other really good key skills are communication skills. Again, you're not just in the same rut that you may be in your civilian career. You're going to be put in situations where you may need to present in front of people, communicate to people who are, below or above rank with you, communicate with the public. Lots and lots of different opportunities for you to improve your communication skills. That's something I think we all need to do throughout our lives, is improve communication, because not everybody thinks the same way, does things the same way, and not everybody listens or talks the same way. So sometimes it's nice to just be able to improve that core skill, to be able to effectively communicate with one another without crossing wires or upsetting people, or portraying the right image, or making sure that the job's done correctly that you're trying to do. If you're actually saying the wrong commands or the wrong orders or the wrong goals to people, all that sort of stuff. They're majority of the main things that really benefit from Tank's having a little snooze now. Oh, I said his name. Tank, what are you doing, bud? He's like, well, I'm going to dribble all over your center console because, well, why not? I'm the dog. I can do what I want, especially because I'm Tank and I'm old. And my dad allows me to kind of do whatever I want now because I'm old. But yeah, honestly, folks, if you are interested in becoming an Army Reserve soldier or any kind of military reserve, because it's not just the Army, there's other reserve units and branches of the military out there, just go take a look at your careers office. Go take a chat. Sit down with them, see what options you have. You may find that it's just not for you, and you may find, wow, it is for me, I'm going to go give it a go and love it for the rest of your life. Or you may be one of those people who try it for a little while, works out for them for a bit, but you're kind of like, yeah, this isn't working with my schedule, my timings, or it's just not for me. Give it a go. You never know. You might enjoy it. You might meet me. Just kidding. No one wants to meet me. I'm an absolute loser. But there's a ton of benefits to it. And for those of you who have left the military and missed that core ethos, that core spirit of the military and the Army or whatever it was that you're a part of, consider it. I know a lot of people knock the reserves and say, weekend warriors, you guys suck, you're not real soldiers, blah, blah, blah. I used to be one of those people when I was in the Reg Force. I used to give reservists a ton of hard time. But now I'm a reservist, I have a huge appreciation for the reserve force, because not only, and this is a key point, and I'm experiencing it, not only do you do a full-time job in your day, or schooling, whatever it may be, you then contribute your evenings and your weekends away from your family, your friends, other commitments you have, to serve another job, which is very committed. So you need to put a lot of effort into contribute towards that job. That takes a lot of dedication, that takes a lot of courage at some points, because you're literally telling your employer, I gotta go and do something for the military this weekend, is that okay? Not all employers are super happy about it, and that takes a lot of courage. You're putting at risk, your own career. I don't think really at risk, but you are, you could burn yourself out. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to go into, 2 jobs and burn yourself out from your primary role, which is producing, finances or schooling for you and your family. So you just got to be really careful with it, but it's for sure an option for everyone. Now, a lot of people ask me about the medical concerns, the fitness requirements. I cannot comment on medical requirements to joining the Canadian military because it's just not where I'm at. I don't have that information to pass on to you, and I do not want to create misinformation. For fitness, it's a little bit different. I can give you some of the standards, but primarily you can look at all that stuff online, check it out. There's a lot of prerequisites you must have to be able to join the Canadian Armed Forces, obviously being a citizen, all that good stuff. So go try it out. If you're not from Canada, you're from somewhere else, again, you have ample opportunity to go check out your own reservist units around the world. I'm sure there's plenty out there. Have a look, have a think, and hopefully it'll appeal to you in some way or some regard. And maybe it's going to line you up for a full-time military career. Who knows? If it was up to me, I would love to go back full-time, but it's just not the way my life's panned out to be. So I'm going to be a reservist probably for the rest of my life, and that's okay. And I'm having a great time doing it. From my own personal experience, it is a lot of fun. I meet great people. I get to learn new things. I'm proud to be part of a new regiment now, a new military family with the artillery gunners. So, go check it out. Have a think about it. Talk to your recruiters, and let me know what you think if you do attempt to try and you're a part of it. And if you're already a reservist or even a Reg Force member, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your own experiences as to how you feel the Army Reserve or military reserve life is like, so that maybe you can share on your own experiences to those who are potentially wishing to join. Anyway, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day. I just want to make this clear. This is not an endorsement. I'm no military recruiter. Everything I've told you about this is purely my own opinion, not that of the Canadian Armed Forces. To make that very clear, it's kind of a disclaimer. But I try my best to encourage those who have an interest to join the Army or the military to do so. So from me and my beloved boy Tank, we're going to say goodbye and carry on our drive back home. All the best, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.